Minutes into her night shift,
and it's exciting. It's the most exciting job I've ever had in my life.
Officer Brenda Ruiz is ready and running calls. She patrols 1st Precinct, the East End, 4 of the city's housing projects which have been plagued by crime in 2021. But Ruiz does not mind a tough assignment. In fact, she found her calling watching police officers and firefighters run into the clutches of chaos on September 11th.
So I was born in Argentina, and I was raised in Miami. I came to the U.S. when I was 9 years old, and that was the year 2000. In 2001, 9/11 happened, and I saw everybody that was running into the building, the firefighters and the police officers, and I just said, that's what I want to do.
With that dream in mind, and a little under 3 years patrolling Richmond's most violent streets,
it's very upsetting to me that, she leaving.
Residents like Cora Lee,
Because she's a good policeman.
react to rumors of Ruiz going to Henrico County.
What?
Leaving her city post to patrol the suburbs.
They need to keep her paying more money, keep her here in Richmond.
Ruiz, once Rookie of the Year at RPD, praised in a federal affidavit for sniffing out a drug dealer just by running a merchant check at a local store, and heralded on social media as one of the faces of a modern and diversifying Richmond Police Department, is heading to Henrico in search of better pay and higher morale.
My choice to leave, I love the department, and I love where I work, and I'm having a great time. But my thing is, I have to look at the future right now, and my future doesn't look very financially stable if I stay in the department.
Ruiz says it's bittersweet. Many of the men and women she patrols with at RPD have become family. A family, she says, in turmoil due to the riots in Richmond and ongoing political posturing.
At least 2 of the city council members made us look like we're the bad guys. And then support from the mayor. The mayor came out and said a couple things that the officers did not agree with and they weren't happy with. Then he had a meeting with us. He said something different. That meeting got put on the media, and we've been kind of going back and forth with with city council and the mayor. I think a lot of the times our command staff has their hands tied, and they can't really do much for us.
We caught up with Mayor LeVar Stoney on Saturday.
I know that policing has become more difficult since last year.
He says while he has called for more police accountability, the perception of him being anti-cop is wrong.
Police, and I've never supported defund the police. I never supported it because I know that there have been families who have come to me who said, Mr. Mayor, we need the police department.
Stoney says he's been working on a way to get RPD caught up with the other law enforcement agencies in Central Virginia when it comes to pay. But he says that's just one part of the problem.
It's not just salary and compensation. It's a number of other things that I'm working with the chief on, whether or not you can take your car home at night, whether the car is working as well, the fleet. These are the little things that, there's a quality of life in your home, but it's also a quality of life at your job as well. And we're focused on improving the quality of life of police officers within the city.
Y'all want some candy? From me.
Handing out candy. Going to new heights looking for a gun toss, never talking down to someone, and always trying to remember that anyone can have a bad day.
You have a gun in the backpack.
I don't, but you can check my backpack from my car.
Okay.
Some of Brenda Ruiz's last calls as a city officer will be memorable. But duty, no matter where she serves, is in her DNA. Still, she worries about the city she's leaving behind.
They're not going to have somebody there when they need them because there's not going to be enough officers to respond because everybody's leaving, and it's horrible. It hurts the department, it hurts the people of the city, and they should do better.
People need to put down guns because it's taking sons away from their mothers.
Words of wisdom.
I was very sad, and I just hope it wasn't him, because
From a grieving 9-year-old boy.
he was my friend. We always played together. He always used to smile.
9-year-old Kai Johnson says Abdul was one of his closest buddies. He says they played basketball and football at recess, and Abdul was always the first to crack a joke. Little Kai says Abdul would make him laugh when he talked about his country's culture and how they were disciplined if they stepped out of line.
He told me like back when he lived in Jordan, that like they get slapped with belts.
Oh my God.
And then that made me laugh.
Kai says Abdul had a lot of friends. His kind-hearted personality was magnetic. Kai's mom, Shannon Smith, telling her son to keep those memories locked in his heart and to never forget his friendship.
They need to hear it from a 9-year-old because it seems like they're not affected until crime happens to a 9-year-old. And I want people to see the pain and the trauma because it's not just Kai. Kai's whole class needs counseling. Kai's teacher is distraught. Everybody, this has affected a lot of lives, and it didn't have to happen.
Dozens gathered outside the OMG convenience store at the corner of Creighton and 9 Mile Wednesday night. It's where Abdul was shot walking to a car. His family owns the corner store. Prayers and community members trying to show strength for a family, enduring immeasurable pain.
It's just hard to believe that my friend is actually gone. And sometimes I just hope this is a dream.
You're looking at the World Trade Center. We understand that a plane has crashed into the World Trade Center.
It was the morning time. The first plane had already gone into the tower. I was watching on TV, and I pretty much knew then to get my jump bag ready because we'd be going somewhere. And then the second plane hit.
Right
oh,
now.
There's another one. Another plane just hit. Right. Oh my gosh. Another plane has just hit. It hit another building.
And then we got word of the Pentagon attacks.
And there is smoke pouring out of the Pentagon. It would appear that there has been another major explosion.
And I knew then that was my day, that we were going to go to the Pentagon. We went live on the Hill for about 3 days, I think. Because you got to realize, man, this place was locked down with tanks and heavily armored police officers. 1 year out of the Navy and staring at the symbol of the military, it's the Pentagon. It's the symbol of military strength and might. And I see a gaping, charred hole in the side of the building. The flames, we could still see flames when we got up here. And it was just a surreal moment. You just, you knew that America changed forever that day. And I remember here, it was the day after, we went down closer to the Pentagon and there was a tent on a sidewalk, and many of the family members had gathered themselves in tents with hopes that they were going to get words about their loved ones. I remember one lady unzipping her tent and basically crawling out of the tent, and she looked at us and said, my husband's in there and he's coming home. And just the sadness that I felt as a young journalist then, knowing that most likely her husband died inside the Pentagon when the plane hit, and she's holding on to hope that she's going to get good news, and she's probably not going to get it. I mean, I was tremendously sad. Obviously, aesthetically, it's been fixed, but I can remember that black hole, and I remember that gaping hole forever. I'll always remember it. But, you know, life has moved on, things have repaired. They've got a nice memorial up here.
Do you think it hits you harder knowing that you'd served in the military right before this happened?
Probably. I mean, honestly saying, because, you know, in the military, you're taught military history, and, you know, we know what the Pentagon stands for as we wear that uniform. And I can tell you the day of, it hit me real hard that day. I can remember shedding a few tears. I take it as it's our duty to talk about this. So folks like my kids, my youngest, Clara, doesn't understand what happened that day. I want her to know that Daddy was there that day. Daddy was there the day that the plane flew into the building and America was attacked. It's been called America's darkest day. Dad was there.